this is this powerful rich man who she was so in love with. She felt,
Bro, if the jurors convict this, nah. If the jurors convict, no. Oh, they good. Oh, they. All right, guys, let's get to it. We're gonna get to this day two, Diddy. I might do a reaction to DDG and Harley one. Let's do it. And guys, by the way, disclaimer, guys, this is not gossiping. I'm not gossiping because I'm really the type of person I don't like to talk about other people's lives. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I don't want to sound like I'm defending myself. But the reason because that's very important to me. But there's lessons and stories here that we can all learn and we can apply it to our lives. That's how I like to take this. All right.
so it's week 2 of Diddy's trial here in New York, and day 2 kicked off with Cassie, who was the star witness for the prosecutors taking the stand. Now, a lot of people feel like Cassie dropped the ball yesterday with her testimony, but I do not agree whatsoever. Cassie got on the stand and she detailed everything from the first day that they met to the time that they spent together, her 21st birthday, where that was her first time kissing, and she admitted that she didn't want to kiss him, that she felt, just very she didn't know how to feel. She felt confused. She was young. She was crying. She set the scene early for the power dynamic of, this big mogul who was supposed to be helping me in music, who had such a big life that she just uncontrollably fell in love with, and things got bigger than her.
That was 17-year age difference, correct?
Yes. And that was the narrative. And they were together, for those who don't.
But that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense, bro. Did you just hear what you said? Okay, but you were still there.
No, for 10, 11 years. Now, after she details a lot of the background, she starts going into
to help the music career,
the things that a lot of us wanted to know about. So they talked to her about the freak offs, and what she says about the freak offs is that Diddy allegedly was in control. She says that, it was very well choreographed. Like, it was almost, when she was describing it, I was like, it sounds like he was shooting a music video.
Executive producing.
No, for real. She says that, there were certain supplies that they would have, right? So they would do candles as the lighting, and it would always be like Glade, or there was another brand that she mentioned because he wanted it to smell a certain way. And then she
Glade.
says, then she says that they would get extra linens, and we've heard this story, but she said that because we heard before that there were extra linens because
Dookie on the sheets.
So what she said was she was actually made to have freak offs during her period, and so there would be blood on a lot of the sheets. And she said she didn't want to do that, but she was being made to do that allegedly.
What do you mean So they're saying that he was forcing her to do those things.
And she also alleged that there'd be urine on the sheets, and we've heard testimony about the urine and why those things happened, allegedly, and baby oil. She said that they would oil up so much. That was like a big thing for Puff, allegedly. Like, you had to be oiled, that every 5 minutes they were like just re-oiling because
he wants you to look like a shiny suit. Yeah, because it glistens, and I guess it's the sexiness of baby oil on it. He wants you to glisten like them shiny suits he used to wear in the 90s.
This is so sad. I guess so. And then when we were talking about the urine, she talked about that in one of the free calls because they had asked her, we opened up our testimony or our opening statement to prosecutors talking about, you alleging that there was a male escort that was made to pee, that was made to urinate.
This is crazy. Let me know what you guys think below.
On you.
You can say pee. Anything.
Urinate on you. Can you detail that? So she starts to detail that. She says that at one point she was choking, obvious reasons. And they asked her, why didn't you just ask them to stop? And when I say them, she updated us and let us know.
Attorney Riley Freeman? This is why wouldn't you just move out the way? That's
where's the lawyer? Diddy's lawyer.
Basically, they just asked, at this, because it didn't sound like she was being held against her will at that point, like physically. So they're like, well, why would you just, because she said she laid down with her hands up a lot of times when that was happening because she didn't like it and it was a lot going on. And she said that not only would the escorts do it, allegedly Puff would join in as well. And she said when it would get to a point where it was too much for her, sometimes he would tell the escorts, Puff would tell the escorts allegedly like, yo, all right, let's stop, let's chill. So they asked her like, why wouldn't you just tell them to stop yourself? And she said, I'm laying on the floor, and allegedly intoxicated by all these things, and there's 2 men standing over me. What am I going to do? So I just laid there.
With pee.
Yeah. And so
the reason they ask that question is because they know the defense is going to ask that question. So they try to make sure that they ask questions that the defense asked to, to make it more comfortable.
Yeah, but she broke the freak offs down.
Wait, what was the question?
And so
the reason they asked that question is
So I just
right. These lawyers, bro, this,
like, why would
bro, this is like war. This is like a game, bro. One side against the other side. Like to be in the courtroom, I think. Imagine you're fighting for one day. He's fighting for his life. Hey, oh God. Another one there is a lawyer trying to make his name. Another one there is attorney trying to make the name. Judge, juror. It's like a movie.
you just he would tell her to do it allegedly. She didn't like it.
They'll probably
Why
make
would
a
you just because she
Netflix
said she
movie.
laid down with her hands up a lot of times when that was happening because she didn't like it and it was a lot going on. And she said that not only would the escorts do it, allegedly Puff would join in as well. And she said when it would get to a point where it was too much for her, sometimes he would tell the escorts, Puff would tell the escorts allegedly like, yo, all right, let's stop, let's chill. So they asked her like, why wouldn't you just tell them to stop yourself? And she said, I mean, I'm laying on the floor, and allegedly intoxicated by all these things, and it's two men standing over me. What am I going to do? So I just laid there. Yeah. And so
and the reason they ask that question is because they know the defense is going to ask that question. So they try to make sure that they ask questions that the defense asked to, to make it more comfortable.
Yeah, but she broke the freak offs down in steps as well. She said that the first step was there was like masturbation, and they would have to do masturbation. It would be her and the escort, and she would have to talk out loud and describe what she was seeing. She would have to be very descriptive because allegedly Puff would want to hear that.
She said he would be blindfolded, right?
No, not all the time, because once they got more comfortable with the escorts from what it seems like she's describing, the blindfolds would come off and all that.
But like, what does this have to do with sex trafficking? Now, if she's under force, under will for all these years and like he's doing distraught things to her, like I said, what's done in the darkness shall be put to the light. I'm not judging. Let's think of it like a movie, right? Movie characters. We're analyzing a movie. He would have had to like really like all those years you were with him. How long were they together? Hold you down and literally force you, and you like you're basically like a Stockholm syndrome. Like that's what this situation would have been, because from what she's saying escorts. Is escorts sex trafficking? Now, sex industries are huge industries. People pay their bills with sex. It's people feed their family, they pay their rent with sex. So if he's paying for escorts and they're doing things, freak offs, what does this have to do with sex trafficking? Or are they trying to these people, they're smart. Hey, if they don't want to catch you, they're gonna catch you. But that's why I like to say, you see me? I got a finger, fiance. I'm focused one woman, because when you start bringing women, you don't know who's who. Who can you trust? But yeah, and if you do weird stuff, you see me, I don't do weird stuff. So anything a woman could say about me, like, I don't do anything weird. I'm just a cool, laid back dude, I don't really. So,
that stuff.
You got mad notes, Lauren. I need to see those.
Yeah, and they're highlighted. I had to organize them better because I felt like yesterday I had a lot of information that I didn't get, so I organized them better. Highlights. I made notes in the back of important points to get to in here. You can read these.
And Lauren is in the courtroom.
She's a hustler.
Yeah.
She's in the courtroom.
That was a new notebook.
I bought a second one yesterday.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that first step was the descriptive foreplay, and then step 2 is the touching. Now, step 2, she alleges, is that's when all the baby oil comes out. Step 3 is oral, and she says that a lot of times she would rush to get to the oral because she just wanted to get over with, because she kept making a point of she didn't want to do this. She just was doing it because she was so in love, and she said she didn't want him to go and do it with anybody else.
That doesn't make any sense. Did you just hear what she just said?
Now, she just rushed to get to the oral because she just wanted to get over with, because she kept making a point of she didn't want to do this. She just was doing it because she was so in love.
She didn't want to do this because she was doing it because she was so in love. Does that mean like... What does that mean? She didn't want to do it, but also are they saying like he manipulated her and you're in love with me, like you have to do this?
And she said she didn't want him to go and do it with anybody else.
She didn't want him to go and do it with anyone else. But that doesn't seem like he's forced you. You're just doing it. You don't want to do it. I don't want to do many things. Sometimes my girl might tell me to do things I don't want to do. Yeah, I get you. I do them because I'm in love with her. And, hey, that's the mother of your children. That's my shorty. Like, I'll do it. I got to do something. I got to do it. And if she wants me to do something and then I fear that she's going to do with someone else, I don't know, worry about that. But the first one, I'm going to... So How is he forcing you to do anything? How does this sound like sex trafficking? Guys, is the Matrix this powerful that they can just throw in? Oh, man.
Now, step 4 was the actual intercourse where they would engage in, sex. And she said that sometimes Puff would just watch allegedly, but then she said other times he might join in if they were really comfortable with an escort. So that would look like her giving Puff head and allegedly, or wait, I can't.
No, you can't say that part.
That would look like her
Oral
giving
sex.
Puff fellatio.
Fellatio, yes.
And sorry, and the other escort having sex with her at the same time. Now, she did give us an update I didn't know if I needed. She said that a lot of times after they would finish, the escorts would
Ejaculate.
have a happy ending, and Puff would make her take that happy ending and rub it on his nipples, and then they would engage in whatever they were going to do, just Cassie and Puff allegedly.
So his man milk on Puff's nipples?
That's what Cassie's alleging, that that Puff liked her to rub it on his chest and on his nipples.
Jesus.
And then
So chocolate-covered nipples with a semen drizzle.
Yo,
Glaze.
shut up, man.
And
Glaze. We have to say glaze.
Oh, so yeah, Diddy likes his nipples medium well with a semen glaze.
yeah, she
Yo,
said that
Charlemagne be sauce, bro. Charlemagne, I said me and you, we're gonna have a talk.
anytime that she was having intercourse during the freak offs by herself, and Puff would just be allegedly listening or watching, he would then ask her about it after, and he'd be very descriptive. Like he would ask her, how did the D feel?
Did she rub the semen in the nipples like a DJ scratches a record? Or did she
Just
rub
go.
it in like lotion?
Keep going, keep
What
going.
you think?
She
Keep
didn't
going.
really specify.
Listen,
why you
real quick,
answering him?
Going back to right here, clown. Look, you said that she said she didn't want him to do it with anybody else. Is that because she didn't want anybody to endure any like the things that she was doing, or
The way that she put it-
his girlfriend? Like what's
Yes,
happening?
the way that she put it, she said it on a stand. I was a very jealous girlfriend when it came to him and other women. And she said, this is this powerful rich man who she was so in love with. She felt
If the jurors convict this, nah. If the jurors convict, no. Oh, they God, oh, they ba. You're trying to tell me that you're saying that I was so in love with him and I was a jealous girlfriend, so I did all these things. He didn't traffic me. He didn't hold me against my will. He was just a little bit of a freak. And then he had escorts around who he successfully transferred funds to, credit card, BPay, American Express, transactions. And this is the case they're putting against him because I was so in love with him. I was so in love with him and I'm a jealous girlfriend.
vulnerable because he had shared this secret of these powerful, rich, a very jealous girlfriend when it came to him and other women. And she said, this is this powerful, rich man who she was so in love with. She felt vulnerable because he had shared this secret of these voyeurisms and freak-offs that he liked to do. She didn't want another woman coming in and swooping up in her place. And a lot of times she alleges, and we saw actual text messages they brought up where she tried to tell him she didn't want to do a freak-off. And he was like, oh, okay, you're boring, you're predictable. I'm sorry. He said you're predictable. But it was giving the effect of, I don't want him to think I'm boring. I don't want him to think that I'm not down. So I'm going to just do it.
So you don't do it with somebody else.
Yes.
Did he?
Are you guys hearing this, bro? Is it just me? Is it just me? Just tell me if it's just me. Are you guys hearing what she just said?
Let the semen cool off?
Somebody else.
Yes.
Did Diddy?
So but it was giving the effect of, I don't want him to think I'm boring. I don't want him to think that, sorry, he said you're predictable.
She said, I don't want to do a freak off. He's like, okay, you're predictable. Like I know you're not going to do it. I have other people I've paid. Like I can go do this shit with them. I'm going to do it anyways. And then, he said, I'm predictable. Well, let me show him. So I'm going to go and do it. But I don't want to do it. But I'm predictable. I'm so in love with him, and he's so rich, and I'm in this mansion, and I'm still gonna go in. But he forced me. Sex trafficking. Get him. Hey guys, this is like a movie, so I'm not making any judgments. Please. I'm not making any judgments. I'm not talking about other people's lives. It's like a movie. It's just like a movie. So we're storytelling. This is stories. But I'm just trying to understand the logic in this scenario on how this is sex trafficking. Because that's a very serious accusation, and you should have the death penalty for something like that. I could never condone anything like that, ever. We love women, our soul, our queen. But to call someone who's just a freak, and and a freak, I could be a freak, like freak, people just like what they like. You like dogs, she likes cats. That you could call someone a freak, that could be normal to someone. So who are we to judge? But if you're telling me just these little, sex games and stuff like that, sex trafficking.
But it was giving the effect of, I don't want him to think I'm boring. I don't want him to think that I'm not down, so I'm gonna just do it.
So you don't do it with somebody else.
Yes.
Did he let the semen cool off? Or
What
does
else?
he like his semen warm
What
or
else
room
did he
temperature?
have?
I don't know the answer to that, but I will say she mentioned that he sometimes liked the oil to be warm, and they would pour wax on each other from the candles sometimes.
You know what?
Allegedly.
Right.
The first day you were in court, you said, everybody in the court and the judges and the attorneys, not the judge, the attorneys that were outside watching and the press believed day one went to Diddy. So day two, what did they say in day two? Went to prosecution or Diddy as well?
People believe that it went to Diddy, but I would argue different. I would argue that day two went to the prosecution, because even if you didn't feel like they gave you all the evidence they needed, which she gave a lot. She said that they hired these escorts. She said that they engaged in, these sexual things with these escorts.
She said Diddy got semen recipes.
She said a lot yesterday that sets them up for the landing. They just haven't landed the plane yet. And
So what landing though? How does that have anything to do with sex trafficking? Escorts, he's paid for their services. She says that she was in love with him and she didn't want to, she's a jealous girlfriend. And you're telling me day two went to the prosecutors. If me, I'm a jury, I'll be like, okay, what is the case? Guys, is it me? It's a sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is taking people like bondage and putting them in your sex trafficking. That is horrible. That's what I'm saying. Those are crimes people should be put to death. But to say I was a jealous girlfriend and I just did it because I didn't want him to do it with someone else because he could have done it without me. So I'm jealous and he's rich and I wanted to stay like I'm a jealous girlfriend. Like, so I just did it, but I didn't want to do it, but I just did it. And the jurors were sitting there and they gave day two to her.
think that if anything, you walked away believing that this woman could have been taken advantage
It's
of.
only day two, y'all.
But they also said
Of
people
8
were
weeks.
leaving during, that people were snapping and sleeping. Was that true as
People
well?
felt like the prosecution was taking too long to get to the gut punch.
Trust.
That's how people felt, because they spent so much time on their history, on why she didn't do this. They kept asking her a lot of the same questions about the drugs they were taking. But what I think that the prosecution was building is they were building character around this witness. So you have this pregnant woman that you're looking at, and she barely cried, right? I'm wrapping up right now.
And is she taking a stand today?
She's taking a stand
Y'all
again
do
today.
realize it's 8 weeks.
I'm just
It's
asking.
only day two.
I'm just asking because she's there. And what would
And we already have semen on the nipples.
We're going to bring this
There
back
was
in.
semen on the nipples. What was the family's reaction? What was her husband's reaction? What was the courtroom's reaction when they said he liked the semen on the nipples?
Let's talk about it when we
Yeah, we're going to bring it back in the next hour, because there's a lot more. Well, wrapping up the freak offs, and then we're going to go into we watched the video with Cassie in court yesterday. So that was another
What
piece.
video did you watch?
The video of the beating in the hotel.
Oh.
Those videos may not get played, but we'll talk about that.
All right. When we come back, we got front page news. And Snoop will be joining us, and we'll
guys,
get back
thanks for
to
watching.
Diddy and the nipples and all that in a little bit. It's the
Thanks
Breakfast
for
Club.
watching, guys. I'm going to go and do a reaction video on the DDG one. Again, we're going to use this like movies and stories. Put your comments below what you guys think. Am I tripping? Maybe I'm crazy. Let me know what you guys think, because this shit is crazy.
I just got my amazing do-rags from Oz Do-Rag, crafted to protect and preserve your waves, braids and curls, ensuring your hair stays flawless. You can choose between luxurious velvet and smooth silk, both offering exceptional quality and comfort. You can choose a range of colors to suit any style. Enjoy the convenience of fast and free shipping across Australia. Only for a limited time, when you purchase one do-rag, you'll receive 50% off for your second. Visit their website now and take full advantage of this exclusive offer today. What are you waiting for?
If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to click here, and I'm sure you're gonna love that one.